guess like I think that because of examples I've seen, like I've had teachers, classmates, etc. look at me like I'll be maybe the only black person in class, and whenever they're referring to black people, they'll look at me to see if they use either the right word like African American or black, or they'll switch between it depending on who the audience is. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, even some of my friends are like, wait, is it okay if I say this? I'm like, you can say what you want. It's like, I'm not going to take anything straight to heart. Like, people have opinions and everything, so.
Not usually me.
It happens to me. So it's like, you want me to call you like black or African American, or like, what do we call you?
Okay.
Like, I'm me. My name's Dwayne. That's what you can call me.
Okay.
I think people they're kind of nervous and scared because they don't know how to react. Because a lot of people come from different backgrounds, so they might not be accustomed to dealing with African Americans like that. Okay. So like with me, I went to like a town that's like 50-50. So like my white friends will come to me like, hey, you're black and stuff like that. So it's like if you have that if you're comfortable with that group of people, it's easier. But like let's say if you come from a predominantly white background, it's going to be harder for you to be like, oh, are you black? Because they don't want to be seen as offensive or racist, so they're not used to it.
Okay.
I guess in my case, it probably came out more when I went to college, because when I was in high school, almost everyone was white. Not just high school, like K through 12 the entire time. Then when I got to college, I felt like almost immediately just talking to my like dorm mates, etc., that like they'd say stuff and then I'd be like, they don't get my background, like they don't get it. Or they'd say stuff that'd be offensive, but they didn't grasp it as offensive. So like, I mean, like I've always done this thing of like, I don't know, it's like an understood thing, like you see a black person, you say hi, you really don't know them. Or like you'll make small talk.
I think there's both. Like there are those people who are conscious of it, like they know, okay, I'm gonna stick with Asian, I'm gonna stick with black people, but then subconsciously, like even if you just walk around campus, you can see people like, you'll see a group of Asians, a group of white kids, a group of Chinese kids, they all, like they tend to group with their own kind, probably just because that's what their comfort zone is, but that's just how it happens.
Okay.
I agree.
Okay.
I'll probably say, yeah, middle school, like everyone was like so carefree. It's like I hang out with this person, I hang out with this person. So like in middle school is easier probably.
Okay.
But then as you grow older, people like interests change. So it's like in high school I was still like in the honors and AP classes, so I still hung out with like a lot of white people.
Okay.
And I also played soccer. And I also played like basketball. So like I was always diverse, but you always tend to hang out with people you're more comfortable with, I guess you could say.
Okay.
So not per se, like not saying you're black or white, just that how comfortable you are in that aspect. Because when I play soccer, I wouldn't like go to my black friends to play soccer because not all of them play soccer.
Yeah.
But if I wanted to like play other sports, I would relate to different groups of people.
Okay. For me, I've always been in the minority. Like I went to a majority white school for both high school and middle school, and so I've always had friends who are white and friends who are black. I think that usually I was, friends with everybody, but I was better friends with people who had similar backgrounds with me. Just because we could relate on a cultural level, like our home lives are more similar, so we can have that to talk about.
Okay.
Whereas, if I'm Christian, so like if my white Jewish friend and I are talking, we're gonna have, things to talk about, like about school and sports and stuff, but when it comes to our home lives, we're not gonna have much to relate.
I mean, like, for me, yeah, I can agree with that, like, in a sense, it was weird. It's like, in the beginning, it starts out as something that's imposed on you, like, other people just keep making you notice it. It's just, at first, like, it might bother you. Like, in my case, I feel like it didn't bother me enormously, because my parents made sure I knew that being black was bad. Like, even though on TV, it might have been bad, like, they made sure I knew it was something to be proud of, not embarrassed. Even though at school, they would, like, as early as kindergarten, they would say, let's not be friends with Christians, because their parents told them to be. But, like, then, as I got, like, maybe to college, it became more of, like, a self, like, I don't know, maybe it was internalized, I don't know what to where it was like, well, okay, now I see like social issues that are related to the fact that I'm a person who is not minority. So it became something I guess that I'm willing to do because I saw a commonality because it was something that I wanted to do something about.
I can give you an example at Rutgers. We're both part of a minority organization, a fraternity called Alpha Phi Alpha. So it's kind of like you want to like get in touch with your past history. So you kind of want to be familiar with like your roots. Because I'm a senior engineer, so most of my classes I see people who are not like me. I see like a lot of white, black, Asian people. So I mean we're missing the black people in these classes. So to connect back with the community, go back to like to join different organizations so you can relate.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. I think joining organizations where there's a community that has the same kind of background you have. I've been involved in Alpha Phi Alpha and a group called Concerned Black Men, and I go to Black Student Union meetings both here and at my high school. Okay. So, I mean, I've always embraced my culture as a black man. Okay. But definitely just to subsidize it. Okay. Joining groups that have the same kind of values and cultural background that you have helps. I think it's important to keep your cultural background and keep it near and dear to your heart. I feel like although it's okay, I feel like it's okay to sit with people who have the same background with you, if you call that self-segregation. I feel like you shouldn't just limit yourself to that. You shouldn't just be like, I'm only going to sit with people who are like me. But at the same time, you don't want to just be like, okay, I have to have a white person, a Latina person,
like a
Chinese person, and a black person at my table to feel comfortable.
Yeah.
I think it is a problem because when you go into the real world, there's no like, you go to a company, it's not going to be like all black people, all white people, it's so diverse. I feel like when you hang out with people, it's okay if you like hang out with your friends you're comfortable with. Like when you join organizations, try to be in like different things. I'm part of the Engineering Governing Council, so it's not like I'm only in an African American fraternity. I'm also in other organizations on campus, so you know how to interact with different people after you graduate from college.
Okay.
I guess, it just makes me think of an article I saw the other day, where they were talking about at a university that's almost exclusively white, students started a black student union, someone got mad and said, well, we should have a white student union. I think there's a difference. If you would try to use it as an identity, I think it's weird, because it's you probably have more in common with your African community than you do with white as a race. I find that whereas a black in the United States is almost ethnic. So I think that's different. So I guess my thought is things might be better if, say, white people recognize that there are social benefits to be had by being white. But not necessarily that things would be better if they walk around thinking, oh, I'm a white person, let me affiliate with white people. I don't think, it would be beneficial to be aware of the role it plays, but not necessarily to use it as a basis for making all your decisions.
If someone was to ask you to describe yourself in 10 words or whatever, would that be one of the things that you would say? Would you say that I'm a white male?
No.
No, not really.
I wouldn't say I'm
I don't always think about it.
Okay, no.
I think some parents do to an extent, even if they don't know, they'll set their kid up to go play with another black kid or another white kid down the street just so they can get to know them. But I think since kids are at a young age, they're more innocent, so they don't really know racism, so they're more likely to meet new people of different races at a young age.
Okay. I have an experience. Some of my neighbors were white, so there are these twin girls, and then they have an older sister. And I would ride my bike around the neighborhood, and every once in a while, they'd be outside, playing or whatever. and they'd say, hey, do you want to come over, like, have a play date, you know, come chill, that sort of thing. And I'd be like, okay, let me go ask my parents. And they'd be like, not really. You shouldn't really go over there because, you know, I grew up in Virginia.
Okay.
And so it was, I think their thinking was, like, we don't know their parents. We don't want you going over there and, you know, something could happen. They could feel some
They
sort of
say
way.
something or-
Right.
Yeah.
And so that's my experience with that. I definitely feel like parents try to make their kids aware that not everybody is gonna love you.
Same, yeah.
You know, some people just aren't gonna like you. But there's definitely, obviously you want to protect your kid. So.
Yeah.
Not per se, because they try to teach you at a young age you have to be careful. 'Cause I know my parents would tell me all the time, like, oh, this is a racist country. Like, they'll be very blunt with it. So you have to, they say the only way to overcome racism is with education. So you have to be like the best you could be in everything you do.
Okay.
So I feel like it's better you teach them at a young age instead of trying to sugarcoat it and trying to act like it's not a problem, because it only makes it worse in the future when they hear about it.